Okay, so are you ready to dive into some metaphysics?
Always. It's such a fascinating subject.
It really is. And this deep dive is going to be extra interesting because we're tackling Conny Mendez and her book El Librito Azul. you know,
Ah, a
you're
class.
right. But she lays it all out so clearly, anyone can understand it. It's like metaphysics for beginners, but like way more engaging than that sounds.
It's true. She had a real knack for explaining these profound concepts in a simple, relatable way.
Totally. So in this deep dive, we're going to really unpack how much power our thoughts have, like how they can literally shape the reality we experience.
Exactly. And it all boils down to this one principle Mendez calls the principle of mentalism. Basically, what you think, you create.
Okay, see, that's what I love about her. She doesn't beat around the bush. She just comes right out and sees it, what you think manifests. And then she gives all these examples in the book, too, about health, about wealth, even about accidents. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
It is. But it makes sense when you consider the role of the subconscious mind, which she
Mm.
talks about too, right? Thoughts that get paired up with strong emotions, especially fear, they can kind of embed themselves in our subconscious. And then they become these automatic reactions.
So you're saying those thoughts can shape our experiences without us even realizing it?
Exactly. Like, have you ever noticed if you're dreading something, it seems like it's more likely to happen?
Ugh, don't even get me started. It's like when you're running late and thinking, please don't let me hit every red light. What happens? You hit every single one.
See, subconscious mind at work, reacting to those thoughts and emotions we're putting out there.
Okay, so that's a little scary, but also kind of empowering in a way, right? If
Yeah.
we're the ones creating our reality, even unconsciously, then that means we can learn to change it.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Menace gives us a roadmap to do just that. And she even talks about how just rereading her book, it can trigger these aha moments.
Oh, tell me you haven't experienced that. It's like when you hear a song a million times and suddenly the lyrics just hit different one day. Like, how did I not get that before?
Yes, exactly. Those moments are so key. It's like a shift happens, and real change can come from that.
Which is like what this whole deep dive is about, right? Like, if you're feeling stuck, Mendez would say it's not just bad luck, it's your own thoughts holding you back.
And she gives us this infallible formula for changing those thoughts and changing our stories, which maybe we should talk about that
Oh,
next.
you think? I'm already hooked. Okay. You said infallible formula, and now I gotta know, what is it? How do we actually, like, break free from those old patterns and start creating the life we want?
So Mendez's infallible formula is all about taking control,
Yeah.
consciously choosing the thoughts and beliefs that are going to shape our reality.
Okay. Sounds good so far.
And it all starts with this idea of negation.
Negation. Okay.
I know it sounds kind of intense, right? But it's actually super simple. So let's say you're dealing with something challenging, could be anything, health, finances, relationships.
Right.
Instead of getting caught up in all the negative feelings, you take a deep breath and say, I do not accept this.
I do not accept this. Just like that.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's not about saying it with anger or resistance. You know what I mean?
Okay, so no yelling at the universe then.
Haha, exactly.
Hmm.
It's more about like this quiet knowing, this deep inner conviction that you're not defined by this thing. Like you're choosing to detach from that negative energy.
Interesting. Okay, so that's the negation part. What about the infallible part? What's next?
Right. So after you've released what you don't want, you've got to replace it with what you do want. That's where the affirmation comes in. You're basically declaring the positive truth of your reality.
Give me an example. What would an affirmation sound like?
Sure. So let's say it's a health challenge. Instead of dwelling on the illness, you could affirm, I am healthy and whole. Or if it's money troubles, you might say, I am open and receptive to abundance flowing into my life.
So you're basically replacing that negative, limiting belief with a positive, empowering one.
Exactly. And the more you do this, the more you're actually rewiring your subconscious mind to align with those new beliefs.
It's like tuning into a different radio station, one that's playing all your favorite upbeat songs instead of that staticky negativity.
Yes,
Hmm.
I love that analogy. And the best part is, Mendez encourages us to actually test this out in our own lives, to become our own experiment. Because when you see the results firsthand, that's when your belief really solidifies.
It's one thing to read about it, but it's a whole other thing to actually experience it, right?
Right. And speaking of experiencing things, this leads us to another super interesting concept. Every word we speak is a decree.
Hold on, rewind that. Did you just say our words are decrees? Like we're manifesting with every little thing we say?
That's exactly what Mendez says. Each word that comes out of our mouth is creating our reality.
Okay, there makes a lot of sense. Ever notice how when you complain about something constantly, it just seems to get worse?
Totally. It's like you're speaking those negative experiences into existence. But on the flip side, when we become mindful of our language, when we start choosing words that are aligned with what we want, well, that's when things start to shift in a more positive direction.
It's like be careful what you wish for, but in this case, it's be careful what you say.
Exactly. And that's where faith comes into play, which is another key element in Mendez's teachings, but not just any kind of faith.
Right, it's not about just closing your eyes and hoping for the best, is it?
Nope, not at all. For Mendez, true faith is about aligning your thoughts, your words, and your actions with the understanding that you have the power to create your desired reality.
It's like that example she gives about traveling to a new city, right?
Right.
You don't just hope you'll get there. You have faith that you will because you've got your map. You trust the process.
Yes. True faith is grounded in knowledge and action. It's about trusting that the universe operates according to certain principles, and that when we align ourselves with those principles, we can manifest anything we desire.
So it's about knowing the rules of the game and then playing strategically with confidence, which
Yeah.
I'm guessing leads us to her magic formula for manifestation.
You got it. And that formula, it beautifully ties all of these concepts together.
Yeah.
The power of thought, the importance of our words, the role of faith.
All right, you've got to give me the goods. This magic formula, the one that brings together thought, words, and faith. I'm ready.
You always were a fan of the fast track. Okay, so Mendez calls this her magic formula for manifestation. And it's, like I said, deceptively simple. But trust me, this is powerful stuff.
Hit me with it.
I desire in harmony for everyone and according to the divine will, under grace and in a perfect way. Thank you, Father, for hearing me.
Whoa, okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. It sounds almost like a prayer or something.
It kind of is, right? But it's also a recipe, a blueprint for creation. See, it starts with clarity. What do you want? What is that desire you're putting out there?
Okay, but then there's that whole in harmony for everyone part.
Right. Super important. Mendez was adamant about our desires not causing harm. It's got to be a win-win. You know, she tells that story about the woman who manifests money.
Oh, yeah. What happened again?
The woman needed a certain amount by a certain date, so she asks for it. Next day, her daughter gets hit by a car, and on the exact date she'd requested, the insurance money comes through, the exact amount.
Wow, yeah, that's intense. It's like a cosmic reminder to be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. We got to think bigger picture.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got our desire, we've added the harmony clause. What's next?
Let me guess. This is where we let go of control a little.
You know it. According to the divine will. Acknowledging there's a plan bigger than us at play.
Okay, that makes sense. But it's tough sometimes, to not try to control every little thing.
It is. But that's where the undergrace, in a perfect way, kicks in. We're basically saying, I trust this is coming, or something even better, in a way that's for everyone's highest good.
And then the thank you, Father, for hearing me at the end.
So powerful, giving thanks in advance. It's like you're not hoping, you're knowing it's already on its way.
We talked about decrees earlier. It's like instead of saying, I don't have this yet, you're declaring it's already mine.
You got it. And, Mendez doesn't stop there. She goes on to emphasize these two qualities that are crucial for really powerful manifestation: love and forgiveness.
Love and forgiveness, those come up a lot in spiritual teachings. What makes Mendez's approach different?
She makes them practical. She says true love, in the metaphysical sense, isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. It's tolerance, goodwill, finding that inner balance.
And forgiveness is part of that inner balance.
Exactly. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison hoping the other person dies. Forgiveness is the antidote.
Wow, okay, I'm going to remember that one.
Right. She even gives this technique. Instead of trying to force yourself to forget, which is almost impossible, you focus on remembering the good things about that person.
Interesting. So it's about shifting focus from negative to positive.
Yes. By focusing on their good qualities, those positive memories, your heart softens. You release that negativity.
Powerful stuff. So basically with Mendez, we're not just along for the ride, right? We're in the driver's seat. It's about consciously choosing our thoughts, our words, and even our actions to create the life we want.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And when we approach it all with an open heart, with love and forgiveness, that's when the real magic happens.
It's like Conny Mendez is handing us the keys to the universe and saying, go create something amazing.
And that's what this deep dive is all about, right?
Yeah.
Empowering you to unlock your full potential.
Exactly. Because as Conny Mendez taught us, the power to create the life of your dreams, it's all within you.
Listen to more interesting podcasts on Planeta Libra.